What's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today we're continuing my 2021 year-end top 10s with my number, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank for a second there. With my number 4 middleweight in the world right now, the undefeated and former junior middleweight champion, Jaime Munguia of Mexico. Now, Munguia entered the year coming off of a 2020 where he stayed busy. He got a couple wins, you know, it was his first year at middleweight, I think he defeated Spike O'Sullivan, and then followed that up, with a great fight and gruesome victory over Turiano Johnson. And I say gruesome because Turiano Johnson's lip was split directly in half. It was pretty gross. And he walked away with a TKO in there, staying undefeated. Well, he was coming into this year really wanting to prove at middleweight that he belonged and set himself up for a kind of title shot. But he was actually planning earlier in the year on a Triple G fight, but that never materialized. So in June, he would take on Kamil Ziramita. Now, this one was significant because Ziramita, well, first he was a late replacement. I think Munguia was supposed to fight Demetrius Ballard, I believe was supposed to be his opponent. Or, no, it was Maciej Sulecki. I apologize. It was Maciej Sulecki who was supposed to fight. And Sulecki had to pull out of the fight on, I think 2 weeks notice, something like that. And Ziramita stepped in. And this was significant because Triple G had just defeated Ziramita in a mandatory title fight in December. So 6 months prior, Triple G handed him a 7th round TKO loss. What could Munguia do? Well, Munguia went in there against the soft punching Ziramita, dominated him, stopped him in 6 rounds, 1 round faster, and he took the fight on short notice. So that kind of showed everybody, hey, Munguia is here to play. On the undercard, Gabriel Rosado pulled off a major upset against Bektemir Melikuziev, and a lot of people started talking that night, hey, Munguia versus Rosado would be good if Rosado could come down to 160. And Rosado, after 2 very good fights at 168, made the decision to come down to 160 middleweight and challenge Jaime Munguia. So 10 years his junior at 25 and Rosado at 35, Munguia went in there and dominated the former world title challenger Rosado over 12 rounds. Rosado showed toughness. He stayed in there. He took all the shots, but Munguia dominated the action and beat up the veteran Gabriel Rosado and scored a one-sided 12-round unanimous decision as he stayed undefeated and now really is in line for a title shot, hopefully. Now, the first option, first it was announced that Munguia would fight the winner of Derevyanchenko and Carlos Adames in December, and Carlos Adames went in there and pulled out the upset, a 10-round majority decision. So now Munguia's pretty much lined up to fight Adames, and the winner becomes the mandatory challenger. But I think these guys are going to wait. Munguia's already scheduled his next fight. So let's get his stats real quick before we get into what he's doing next. Munguia was previously number 7, so he moves up 3 spots to number 4. 25 years old, he's 38-0, 30 knockouts, and he's a WBC and WBO's number 1 contender. Now, the WBO, that doesn't matter because Janibek Alimkhanuly has already moved forward with the mandatory shot against Demetrius Andre. But him being number 1 contender is significant because if one of those titles were to go vacant, he could fight for it. Now, Andre is in line right now to fight Alimkhanuly in a mandatory defense, but Andre could give up that belt and move up in weight, and then the WBO would order Munguia versus Alimkhanuly if Munguia wanted that fight. I think Munguia is going to stay away from that one for right now, though. I think he wants the WBC belt, which is held by Jermall Charlo. Now, Jermall Charlo seems to be in the driver's seat to possibly land Canelo Alvarez on Cinco de Mayo weekend. And if that happens, that's going to be fucking huge for Canelo. I mean, that's going to be huge for Charlo. Charlo would vacate the title and move up in weight. That's what would happen. He would vacate the WBO belt, the WBC belt, and he'd move up to 168 to challenge Canelo Alvarez, leaving that title vacant. And then Munguia would be in position to fight Carlos Adames for the vacant title, likely towards the middle of the year. Now, Munguia's staying busy, though. He's not taking any time off. He's coming back in February and taking on Demetrius Ballard on February 19th on DAZN. I think he's going to dominate Ballard and knock him out. But Munguia is staying busy, and I really believe he's either going to fight Carlos Adames next in a final eliminator after Ballard, or he's going to get a title shot against Adames for the vacant WBC belt. That's what I think is going to happen. Or he could pass on both of those, and he could fight Triple G if Triple G is available later in the year. But if he were to become champion, the WBC champion, if he were to win that belt, and Triple G beats Ryota Murata, and Triple G doesn't get the unification, doesn't get the showdown with Canelo in the second half of the year, Munguia could land Triple G in a unification title fight. So a lot of moving pieces here around Munguia. Another guy affected by whatever Canelo decides to do next. But Munguia, in my opinion, is going to get a crack at a championship in the second weight class in 2022. And he just has to play the waiting game. But he's staying busy in the meantime, taking on Demetrius Ballard. And I think he's going to knock him out on February 19th on DAZN. So make sure you're watching Jaime Munguia in 2022, because it's going to be exciting to see the opportunities that he gets. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. True Boxing. That's a 2021 year-end top 10s, continuing with my number 4 middleweight in the world right now. Undefeated former junior middleweight champion, Jaime Munguia. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.